What is up, guys? Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Kevin Crates. This is the channel where we go over to crypto news followed by 5 charts every day. Today we're looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Theta, and AXS. And as always, timestamps are down in the description below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that bell on to catch notifications for all daily uploads. The market is looking insanely bullish today, guys. Bitcoin pushing towards 46,000, Ethereum pushing towards 3,200, and everything across the market reflecting that price action. Everything in the green and pumping. As far as the market goes, everything is looking absolutely undeniably bullish. And for those of you who are new here, this has become one of my favorite websites to check every day. etherchain.org/burn keeps track of all the Ethereum being burned. You can see here the timer resets every 10 to 15 seconds. And if we look up here, we are now sitting at 23,830 Ethereum burned. So if we take into account that at the time of filming, Ethereum is currently trading around 31.45, we're going to round that up to 31.50 just to make things simple. So 31.50 times 28,830 equals $90,814,500 worth of Ethereum burned and removed from circulation. Now, for those of you who aren't new here, you're probably wondering, are we going to be checking how much Ethereum is burned in the dollar amount every single day? And my answer is yes. And the reason being, I want to remind you guys that the reason the market is pumping the way that it's pumping is because of Ethereum, and it's no longer Bitcoin carrying the market. This is entirely Ethereum carrying the market as well as carrying Bitcoin at this point. We'll dive into the charts in a moment and take a closer look at Bitcoin and Ethereum's price action. But again, with Ethereum being burned at the rate that it's being burned on the daily, and if you guys are not new here, you've been following the dollar amount with me of how much Ethereum is being removed from circulation on the daily. Tomorrow, we pass $100 million worth of Ethereum in less than a week removed from circulation. But we'll dive into the charts in a moment. We'll take a closer look at Bitcoin and Ethereum's price action. But looking at the rest of the market, I mean, there is just bullish opportunity everywhere. We got Terra Luna up around 23% today. Axie Infinity just took off. We're going to be diving into Axie Infinity's chart in a few minutes here. But as far as price action goes, I mean, everything is pumping. If you guys caught my video yesterday, we talked about Kusama. If you guys saw my tweet this morning, I caught a great long position after my video on Kusama myself. I did exit that position, and I'm waiting for Kusama to push a little bit higher. I don't think Kusama's done. Kusama should be headed towards $300 as long as Ethereum keeps carrying the market the way that it has. But there is just opportunity everywhere. In fact, doing 5 charts a day at this point does not feel like it's enough. I'm having trouble picking which 5 to talk about because there are so many other ones that are going to be popping off in the next few days as long as Ethereum keeps on pumping the way that it's pumping. So if you guys enjoy the content on this channel, you find that it brings you value, I gotta ask, just take a moment, scroll down, hit that thumbs up button. Let's get this video to 100 likes. If we can get this video to 100 likes, I will start putting out more content throughout the week with more charts, because in the current state of this market, these 5 charts do not feel like enough. But overall, the market is looking insanely bullish, and there is just so much opportunity out there. Looking at Bitcoin's daily chart, let's zoom in here, turn on our notes from last time. Actually, let's keep the notes off for a moment and just talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum again. As far as price action goes, Bitcoin and Ethereum both primed and ready to go for a breakout. We can see here on both of them, conversion line, baseline, lagging span, everything is out ready to go. Same thing with Ethereum. If we jump over to the 4-hour chart and look at Bitcoin's 4-hour chart, very choppy, kind of all over the place. But if we compare that with Ethereum's 4-hour chart, a very clear uptrend, absolutely unstoppable. I mean, this is showing no signs of slowing down on the 4-hour. So let's jump to the 30-minute chart. Let's jump to the 30-minute chart for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's 30-minute chart, choppy, kind of all over the place. Not a lot of consistency, doesn't look terrible. But if we compare that with Ethereum's 30-minute chart, here it is back on July 20th, trading around 1710, 1720, and just an absolute monster uptrend, hanging on to those moving averages and showing support. This is absolutely undeniably Ethereum carrying Bitcoin. If we jump to the 1-week chart, we see similar price action. We see Ethereum above the baseline, building support, far away from the Kumo cloud, looking very bullish. And if we compare that with Bitcoin, Bitcoin looking much better than it used to, but still hanging out underneath that baseline. And in my opinion, as long as Ethereum keeps pumping, Bitcoin will get that breakout above that baseline. And this is absolutely Ethereum carrying this market. So let's jump back to the 1-day chart, turn on our price notes for Bitcoin, and talk about price targets. As far as price targets go for Bitcoin, it's pretty much the same as yesterday. We talked about these pullback targets of 45,000, but what Bitcoin does next, in my opinion, really doesn't matter on Bitcoin. It's entirely dependent on Ethereum. If we turn off these nodes, jump to the 4-hour chart. This is Bitcoin's choppy 4-hour chart. This is Ethereum's uptrend 4-hour chart. But keep in mind that each one of these candles represents 4 hours. So let me grab that pen tool over here. As far as price action goes, this is 8 hours of Ethereum pulling back. This is another 8 hours of Ethereum pulling back. This is around 24 hours of Ethereum hanging out in that pullback range. This is around 12 hours of Ethereum pulling back, and so on. And this is completely fine as far as the uptrend goes. These are very healthy pullbacks in this uptrend because it allows Ethereum to keep pumping in price without needing any major correction. In my opinion, it's almost as if Ethereum has flipped Bitcoin into an altcoin. Whenever Bitcoin would pump, altcoins would pump. Whenever Bitcoin pulls back, altcoins would pull back. But now Ethereum is having that effect on not only the market, but Bitcoin as well. So as far as Bitcoin's price action goes, I'm basing it off of Ethereum because in my opinion, Ethereum is carrying not only the market, but it's carrying Bitcoin. And as long as Ethereum continues this uptrend and doesn't approach the Kumo cloud, doesn't break this 4-hour uptrend, show any signs of slowing down, I expect to see pumps in price and small pullbacks here and there with Ethereum and Bitcoin to follow. So let's jump back to Bitcoin's 1-day chart and let's talk about price targets in the event of Ethereum continuing to pump or Ethereum pulling back in price. As far as price targets go for Bitcoin in the breakout scenario, I mean, they're both pretty much primed for a breakout. Keep that in mind. Lagging span conversion line baseline on the daily for Bitcoin, same deal for Ethereum. Both of them showing signs that they're primed and ready to go for a breakout. That doesn't necessarily mean they're definitely going to break out, but that does mean that they are in the right spot for the opportunity to push up in price and have that breakout. So in the event of a breakout, I'm keeping my eye on 48.7 as well as 53,000 for Bitcoin. Pullback targets are around 45,000. It's pretty much in that range now, but below that, I keep my eye on 43.2 and 42.5. 43.2 wouldn't shock me if Ethereum does have a pullback for the time being, but in the event of Ethereum showing real signs of slowing down, maybe challenging that Kumo cloud, showing some signals that maybe this pump is coming to an end. On the lower end for Bitcoin, I'll keep my eye on 40,000 and below that 38.9. Looking at Ethereum's daily chart, let's zoom in here and take a quick look at this candle that just closed. You can see this candle here showing a bit of a sign of a possible reversal, but again, a bit of a pullback on this next candle would not be a big deal. Wouldn't be too shocking either, but the daily chart is primed for a breakout, lagging span conversion line, baseline, and this bit of an uptrend here. Everything looks great on the daily chart. Stochastic RSI high, but it's come down, so it does have room to pump, but it's the 4-hour chart I'm keeping my eye on for Ethereum. This uptrend is still intact and looking great. As long as Ethereum doesn't challenge this Kumo cloud on the 4-hour chart, even a pullback to this range around 3,023, right around that baseline would really not be a big deal. If anything, it'd be a healthy move to continue this uptrend up without any major corrections, but it's also the 30-minute chart I'm keeping my eye on for Ethereum. For those of you who are new here, we've gone over this before. I'm just going to go over it again real quick. As far as price action goes, Ethereum July 20th trading in the low 1700, shoots up above that 200 EMA and has not dropped below since, wicking below a few times, but you can see it does have very strong support on this entire uptrend on that 200 EMA. And you can see here a drop to 3023 on that 200 EMA right now would line up on the 4-hour where that baseline is around 3023. So it does make sense that if there is a pullback right now, that low 3000s is where I keep my eye on. And also keep my eye on this moving average just coming up like this and then adjusting my price targets as it moves up. But basically, if Ethereum does have a pullback, I keep my eye on that 200 EMA on the 30-minute chart and kind of in that low 3000 range as far as price action goes. But if we jump to the 4-hour chart, talk about price targets. My price targets for Ethereum are pretty much the same as Bitcoin in terms of they are the same as they were yesterday, since both of them have hung out in that same range, not really pushing up too high, not really dipping down too low. But for that very reason, I wouldn't be surprised by a pullback for Ethereum, kind of to that low range that we talked about. I keep my eye on the 30-minute 200 EMA and adjust as necessary, as well as this baseline as it comes up. But for the time being, I keep my eye on those low 3000s, 3020, 3050 for Ethereum on a pullback. But as far as a pullback that gives me some indication that maybe this uptrend is coming to an end, I keep my eye on this Kumo cloud on the 4-hour. If Ethereum starts to approach the low 3000s or below where that Kumo cloud here is, that would be some indication that possibly Ethereum's pump is coming to an end, but not necessarily, because it can bounce as it approaches. So even if it comes to this price range, that doesn't necessarily mean that this pump is over. But if it does enter the Kumo cloud, start trending towards 2840, 2850, that would give me some indication that maybe Ethereum is losing a bit of steam. But Ethereum on the daily, just like Bitcoin, is primed for a breakout. And again, in my opinion, it's all dependent on Ethereum. It's not dependent on Bitcoin. So as far as price targets go, if Ethereum can manage to get above 3,200, 3,187, just in that range, it's kind of spiked up a couple times. So if Ethereum can really build support above 3,200, it's got a clean break for around 3,564 and potentially higher from there. But as far as pullbacks go for Ethereum, I'll be keeping my eye on these targets we just talked about, the 3,050, 3,020 range as far as a pullback on the 30-minute to that 200 EMA, as well as a baseline on the 4-hour chart. Some indication that Ethereum might be losing steam if it approaches the Kumo cloud would be 3,000 or below. If Ethereum starts to approach that 28.55 price target, that would give me some indication that possibly this pump is coming to an end and that Ethereum in the market might be pulling down in that range. I would keep my eye on this price target here as this moving average comes up of around 26.45 for Ethereum. Looking at Litecoin's daily chart, let's turn our notes on for Litecoin here. We don't really talk about Litecoin much, and for the very reason that Litecoin is kind of that forgotten coin, but people have to keep in mind Litecoin is one of the top cryptocurrencies available everywhere that you can get crypto, and generally when Bitcoin and Ethereum pump, Litecoin does eventually follow. So as long as Ethereum keeps pumping, Litecoin should pump in price. And now that Litecoin has pushed through the Kumo cloud, gotten above the moving averages, built support, as long as it stays above 162, I would not be surprised to see Litecoin challenge 180. And in the situation where Ethereum keeps pumping, Litecoin could continue to push up towards $200 or above. As far as pullback targets go for Litecoin, it's got to maintain that 162 support. But in the event of a pullback with Ethereum, depending on how aggressive, I keep my eye on around 155. Below that, if there is a larger pullback in the market, we should see Litecoin start to trend back down to these lower price targets of 141. But Litecoin, it's got a bit of a ways to go until the breakout comes. But as long as Ethereum keeps pumping and Litecoin stays above these moving averages, trades strongly above 162, it's about 166 right now, it does have the potential to shoot for around 180. So as long as the market keeps moving in the way that it's been moving and Ethereum keeps pumping, I would not be surprised to see Litecoin trading around $180 to $200 very soon. But as far as price action goes, if there is a bit of a pullback, Litecoin's got to stay above 162. If the market starts to pull back a little bit more, I keep my eyes on 155 and on the lower end around 141. But in the event that the market starts pulling back, Ethereum really does lose steam, I keep my eye on around 126 for Litecoin. Looking at Theta's daily chart, let's turn our notes on for Theta. As you can see here, Theta, the reason we're talking about it is the same reason we talked about Kusama yesterday. These are plays like Dogecoin, like Matic, that have not pushed through that Kumo cloud just yet, and that is what we are looking for as long as the market keeps pumping. So let's turn our notes on as far as price action goes. Theta is now in the Kumo cloud. It's above that moving average there. It's got to maintain price action above 6.8. It's around 6.9 right now. And if it manages to keep that price action, it's got the opportunity to push for around 7.3, 7.4. And from there, as long as the market keeps pumping, Theta could be trading around 8.4 or above. I mean, think about how high Theta used to be trading. If the market does start to recover, Theta is definitely one of those set and primed to potentially push much higher in price. So as far as price targets go for Theta, it's pretty simple. It's got to stay above 6.8 with strength, and then it's got the opportunity to push for around 7.3, and from there 8.4 or above. But as far as pullbacks go, if the market starts to pull back, 6.3 is a big one. That's around the 200 EMA. Wouldn't be surprised if there is a bit of a pullback. We see Theta back around there, but it's really not a big deal as long as it maintains 6.3 or above. But in the event of a big major pullback on the market, I sort of keep my eye on this $6 range. But really, if that does happen, I wouldn't be surprised to see Theta back around 5.6. So price targets for Theta, pretty simple. Resistance around 7.3. Above that, it got a shot to shoot for around 8.4. Pullback targets, it's got to stay above 6.8. And pullback targets below that, I keep my eye on anywhere from 6.3 to 5.6 for Theta. Looking at AXS's daily chart, I put AXS on the daily list of charts we're going to be looking at today, and I did not expect it to be above $70 when I pulled it up right now. I mean, that is absolutely insane. For those of you who aren't new here, you remember we've been following AXS since this initial spike back when it was just around $10, $11. I remember talking about price targets, and for it to be trading above $70 right now is just absolutely insane. I mean, just think about this fact that back in June, it was trading at $2.30. June 1st, 2021, it is trading at $2.30, and now it is trading above $70, pushing a high of $75. As far as price targets go, I mean, I don't really have anything to say about AXS now. I mean, we can talk about this last peak of around 53.6 and possibly even around 58 3.7 on the 4-hour chart. But to be honest, price targets with a move like this, especially on the daily chart, really doesn't matter. The best thing to do if you're not already involved in AXS is to wait for the dust to settle and then look at price targets from there. In this kind of situation, I mean, there just really isn't anything to say about price targets. If anything, it's just very motivating if you're new to crypto, or if you're holding something, or if you get discouraged about things you buy going down in price. I mean, just look at AXS and remember that one right move, one right buy at $2.30, one right project that you think could be the next big thing could do something like this. I mean, this isn't like an everyday thing, but for something to go from under $5 in just a few months to above $70, pushing highs of $75. I mean, that's crypto. That's why we're here. That's why we look at this stuff every day, because there's opportunities like this. I mean, if you missed out on AXS, don't get discouraged. Don't think that there's a lack of opportunities in cryptos, or, I mean, anything really. Opportunities are about showing up constantly, about checking the markets constantly, and about being there so you can find the right opportunity. So as far as price actions go for AXS, I really don't have anything to say. If you're holding AXS, congratulations. And as far as price targets go, we'll revisit AXS tomorrow, see how the dust has settled, talk about price targets, and see where AXS might be headed tomorrow. As far as price targets go, I'll probably keep my eye on around $53, $58, but that really doesn't matter at this point. Best thing to do in this situation, in my opinion, is to just wait for the dust to settle, look for pullback targets, and then go from there. But we'll revisit AXS tomorrow. But as far as price action goes, that's absolutely amazing. But we will revisit AXS tomorrow. All right, folks, that's all for today. If there's any charts you want to look at in the future, leave it down in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn that bell on to catch notifications for all daily uploads. If you're not following me on Twitter, KevinCrates_ on Twitter. I'm extremely active on there. Anytime you tweet at me, I will always tweet back at you. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'm out.